Dr. Gopal Krishna is a medical doctor who started his journey of spiritual science in search of happiness and truth long ago, many years ago, under the guidance of Brahmarshi Subhash Patriji, and has been specially trained by many grandmasters and especially masters like Paul Vijay Kumar. So he has done amazing spiritual work, across the world by his true wisdom sharing sessions, and also scientifically inclined spiritual research, and then propagating that, scientifically meditation is true, and then how it can benefit health of holistic health of human beings. And at the same time, he has decoded this formula of spiritual intellect is the root of physical health, and root and the physical health is the fruit. So that's the greatest truth and the grandest truth that every human being has to unfold, and he has decoded that and has been propagating to the entire humanity. And he has established many spiritual healthcare centers, and then maintained them for more than 10 years in different parts of India, and then expanding his wings across the globe currently, and then trying to establish this science of spirituality across the world. So with this little introduction, I would like to invite Dr. Gopal Krishna, who is dearly called as Dr. GK. Sir, we welcome you all, and then we are very eager to listen to you, and also try to make it a bit interactive as well in terms of the questions that we have. When you are here, we'll try to make the most out of it. So thank you so much, and welcome, and over to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Hari, and Senior for following me since so long, and because of the time differences and the work that we are engaged in abroad. So, but still, I'm happy to connect with this IFSS platform as usual we do. It's a long journey with IFSS ever since Pakistan conducting a lot of global congress meetings and all. And my sincere pronounced gratitude to Rajan sir and Swarnata Madam here, the true backbones for the whole activity. And apart from research activity at the beginning, so T20 IFS is doing a great job in bringing up scientific presentations and introducing a lot of spiritual scientists to this platform, so that the spirituality can be introduced across the world, especially for the allied community, with a proper evidence-based spiritual science we are trying to come up with. Even the PSS movement has done a terrible job and fantastic job across nook and corners of the villages in South India and more in North India as well. People are following meditation, the vegetarian diet, and utilizing the pyramid power by conducting a lot of, by constructing a lot of pyramids. A lot of spiritual science is also shared across the groups in different fields. But to reach the right community, we are trying to come up with a wonderful literature, as well as the presentations and a lot of conferences we conducted so far. So it's a great opportunity to share the wisdom, what I did so far, along with other masters who helped me in developing this project, and especially my mentor, Senior Mentor Paul Vijay Kumar and Brahmarshi Patriji to guide me each and every step to come up with this spiritual tablets wisdom. Yeah. So today, I would like to present the case studies. And Hari, are we going to do any little amount of meditation initially or straight away?
Yeah. I think in the interest of time, we can do that later, sir, so you can continue the talk.
Yeah, definitely. And if I feel in between, we may go for a couple of minutes meditation. So to re-energize ourselves. Basically here, the spiritual tablet is not a physical tablet. It is a wisdom capsule which gives us a scientific oriented spiritual understanding, which replaces the rotten, the unscientific belief systems that we carry in our mind, which automatically attract us to such kind of reality. So that's why here we are trying to give a spiritual wisdom as a tool to work on our physical and mental levels. Straight away, we can understand this in such a way that the spiritual intellect is the root and the physical health is the fruit. Whatever the physical benefit we are seeking on the body and mind, the root cause lies in the spiritual intellect. As we know, BMS, the body, mind, soul, and intellect in all these 4 planes, the intellect, the material intellect is different and the spiritual intellect is different. So if someone can expand his spiritual intellect in a great way by studying so many spiritual scientists, inventions, and wisdoms, and if we replace our rotten beliefs with the spiritual intellect, then automatically we can gain a very good health. So being a medical doctor, initially I worked with so many patient gods where I tried to give meditation first, and slowly they used to become vegetarians over a period of time. And then by sincerely following the plant-based diet and meditation and using the pyramid power, they used to get a certain types of meditation experiences in the form of third-day experiences or dreams and day-to-day coincidences. Sometimes they read some spiritual books, and where they will be exposed to different types of spiritual wisdom. And they will meet their own spiritual gurus, so that they will advise certain things for them. And then I make their own analysis, how their thoughts, the intuitive guidance that they are getting from inside, and what they want to do for themselves and for the community, so that their analysis part, internal analysis, that gives a certain ideas to implement in life. And finally, if it is not the worst case, there may be a physical, in a health component on the body. That itself is a experience to explore and to go further, to dig further, to reach that the intellectual deficit that they are carrying in their brain. So here, the idea is to understand the different types of spiritual experiences they are getting in due course of their spiritual journey, and to finalize or to invent or to explore the spiritual intellectual deficit, and once they correct that spiritual intellectual deficit, then immediately they will get relief on their physical body. So usually, whenever we introduce this meditation to the people, initially there may be an energy component where, because of the intense meditation and by utilizing all the amplifications of meditation, like the pyramid energy, by using this pyramid on their head, beneath the pyramid they will sit in their low meditation, a thrice-fold of energy will come, and that will automatically cleanse the body. Or they may participate in 5 more meditations, which gives a tremendous amount of energy, and group meditation. So all these amplifications together will enhance the energy, and immediately the energy blocks are cleared, and they may get instantaneous speed. Or sometimes it may take a little time. But usually within 40 days, definitely they will get a good relief. But it is not the end of the story, because the root cause for the illness is right somewhere in the top 3 bodies, that is Anandamaya Kosha, Vishwamaya Kosha, and Nirvanamaya Kosha, casual, supracasual, and nirvanic bodies. In other words, we can say one has to understand the purpose of life the righteous way of living, are becoming part of the big picture, what the universe made for us, that they have to understand well. So in understanding the purpose of life and leading a fruitful life, we need to work with them further. And based on the experiences, we need to understand what exactly is their purpose and what's the sitting their purpose in a righteous way. Then we can expect a permanent cure in their illness. So initially, I am unable to tell them how much time usually it will take. But after working through thousands of cases, witnessing thousands of cases, now we were able to give a tentative, an approximate time scale. Like if you take a low back pain, it may take 4 to 6 months to heal them completely without surgery. And if you take hypertension or diabetes, some kind of chronic illnesses, it may take 1 year to see something even in the investigations. And then if the thyroid problems, 2 to 3 years, because every 6 months we need to take all the thyroid profiles to understand that, it was completely cured. Even after they have stopped the medication, by following all the spiritual and spiritual principles that we came to them. So usually we take 3 years time down the line to understand that it is completely cured. So here we are trying to do the investigations before and after, and serially we are trying to follow or to do the follow-up study, and then finally we conclude that it was completely cured. So here, the physical illness is not a punishment, and it is considered as an opportunity to learn. In other words, an opportunity to expand our consciousness. So it's a gentle reminder on our physical body in the form of illness, though it is painful to go through with that illness. If we if we pull the thread of the disease, slowly we can go to the source where we can understand the great reasons behind that illness. So similarly, when I'm working in 2003 with my meditation clinic, the first clinical trial I made after a couple of years of my medical practice as a duty medical officer, and some of the days I did my private medical practice in rural village. In 2003, after coming from Andaman Islands, under the guidance of Padri sir, I started my first meditation clinic. So after setting up the clinic, where I used to have a group meditation hall, serious meditation chamber with 1,000 pyramids, in pyramid mandap, where 4 people can sit under the pyramid for longer hours of meditation, and Allison's classroom, the spiritual books library, music and dance learning center, and 2 counseling chambers, and 1 allopathic setup to deal with the emergency cases. So with this clinical setup, with the help of another 30 to 40 spiritual masters from PSSM, we registered around 1,200 cases. Out of that, 750 cases were grand success. Among those, even though we are doing good with the basic chronic illnesses, so one of these case study, by name Shuryasha, so at the age of 32, she met me having these complaints. There's severe pain abdomen, and there's a lot of loose motions 20 to 30 times in a span, and with the blood in the stool, with a gross weight loss, and her appetite is also decreased completely. And she was treated symptomatically for 20 days. And before that, she had a trouble pregnancy, and post-surgery, she had a typhoid fever, and then followed by, so these symptoms were exposed. So she was extensively investigated, because every time she is getting this pain abdomen and the recurrent bouts of bloody stools and all. So they investigated extensively, and so in the colonoscopy, it was revealed as ulcerative colitis. So here you can see the diagnosis. It was done in 2005, this investigation. And so here the diagnosis is ulcerative colitis. So most of the medical doctors clearly they know the ulcerative colitis is almost like a semi-cancerous condition. Throughout the life, they have to go for the medication. Even though they are under medical control, it can subside the symptoms and it can decrease a bit the bouts that they are getting. But definitely once in a while, they have to go through that acute episodes of the complaints. So she started doing meditation. Initially, she is a bit skeptical and she's not much interest on me. Literally, in her own words, if you listen, she says, when she met me, she thought she has gone to a lot of super specialists and so much investigations were done, lot of treatments she has undergone. What this MBBS doctor in the corner village with a simple meditation board he will do. Again, he will give some tablets for me because there is a word special tablets there. But in contrast, I wrote that all these different, spiritual guidances, how much time she is to meditate and what book she is supposed to read, all those things I wrote. So she surprised with my prescription. And then because her relatives told her that meditation will help her in a good way, she started doing it. So she used the pyramid and regular spiritual counseling were in place and sharings and all. So slowly, when she started doing meditation, there is a little improvement in pain part and she started improving. So after 7 months of doing this meditation, completely she stopped using the medicines because she doesn't have any symptoms and she is good at the time. But after that, during this period and even after 7 months also, there are 2 similar episodes where she even went for the medication also. And parallelly, she is continuing this meditation training and all. So within 1 to 2 years, all the complaints were completely gone. And the recurrence of the complaints also completely stopped. And in 2012, just for the case study purpose, we did the investigation and where we got this normal colonoscopy. The same doctor who treated, he also surprised a lot. How come you got this normal investigation? Usually, there may be a little symptoms you can see, but he got surprised because it was completely normal and she doesn't have any symptoms in those 6 years period. So, during her spiritual journey, we observed clearly she used to get a lot of dreams which are related to the fecal matter. Okay, so number of times, even before the meditation and before having the illness itself, I cannot say it is from childhood, but during the early adulthood, she used to get a lot of fecal matter dreams, especially. Usually the patients will say like they went to some community hall where they have seen they want to go for washroom. They will see a lot of fecal matter is filled and bathroom was not at all good. It is completely ugly and they will come back. Sometimes they will see this fecal matter experiences in the general fields. Here and there they will watch. So such kind of experiences a lot of people will tell. People when they are stuck with constipation to colon cancer related illnesses. So these type of experiences usually they will get even before they get the illness. I will explain the pathology behind that dream science and the experiences part in it. So she clearly accepted the fact that she stuck up with the Arshad Varga. Here that Arshad Varga is nothing but Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Mastership. So that desire, the deep desire, greediness, and anger part, the miserliness. So all these different types of Arshad Varga, usually we say, these are nothing but the negative component within us. Whatever the activity we do, in every hour and half an hour, whatever the different types of tasks we are doing. In every task, there is a possibility that we may anger will generate, and it will be carried forward to the other situations. And there's a possibility to start with the negative components, the ego part. So these miserliness are the greedy part. So whatever is generated, consciously we have to identify it, and we have to come out of it on the spot. Otherwise, so this negative component will be there as a unwanted, component in our eternal realms, which automatically impact the negative component in our physical system, where you see we are taking a food, a delight food, and we are enjoying the fullness of the stomach, the hunger is completed, and we enjoy the taste. After that, the food particles will be completely digested. Then whatever the unwanted that is there as a fecal matter, it has to go out, the unwanted part. Similarly, in a given situation, where the soul faces a particular situation, a people are in a task that we do, we enjoy that particular scene, and after completion of the learning, we have to come out of it. So as I said earlier, there is a chance that we may stuck with a certain amount of these Arshad Vargas, which are generated at the particular time. If we are unable of those, small components to remove, then these becomes an obstacle, a deficit in the intellectual system that will automatically generate negative thoughts, and these thoughts automatically impact the organ, the megapolar, which is meant for remove the unwanted stuff in our physical system. So there is a synchronicity you can observe clearly. The physical food and entering into the body, and the unwanted part going out with the mechanism, the polar mechanism. Similarly, in the intellectual system, the soul is facing, the spiritual intellect is facing a situation or a task, and it is enjoying that particular scene. It will learn particular truths, and after that, it has to come out of the unwanted parts that are generated in that particular area. So this is how the synchronicity has developed between the soul component as a vertical, chain of events that will happen in a day, and then the physical body is taking the food and removing the unwanted heat. So here, she started working on her own anger concept and the greediness, and what all the Arshad Vargas she is carrying from the childhood. It developed as an attitude from the that maybe from the parental trait, or from the environment she attracted, and slowly she started to be conscious with all the anger part and the Arshad Varga part that is generated in every situation. And then apart from this, she did a lot of spiritual service as her regular group spiritual practice. Here we try to divide the spiritual practice in two halves. The first one is individual level spiritual practices, means the intense meditations, which are book reading, and in the individual level, whatever the best they do. After some time, they realize the oneness concept, and slowly the individual practices will be replaced with the group practices, means doing a lot of spiritual service to the community, and distributing the spiritual wisdom across the globe, doing a lot of spiritual works by being a screen behind part they do as an administrator. She's a very good administrator. She worked as administrator CEO for the whole project, and she worked with the financial system or the spiritual tablet system, and she's one of the directors as well today. Now she is working as an advisory director. A lot of work she used to do from the screen behind. So, during her spiritual period, so to come to the conclusion part, coming to the inference part, any illnesses on the colon, megacolon especially, you can say from simple constipation to colon cancer. If we observe carefully, All these Arishad Vargas, usually in spirituality, it is a regular term, everybody know very clearly. The intense desire that we carry. When we say desire, we should not misunderstand the basic desire. Means as a part of life, the basic desire is whenever the desire go into a greediness, then only it becomes it is called Trishna, which is really a tough to digest for the normal system. So here, the desires can be divided into 4 types. When Patri sir doing yajna in Thiruvannamalai Patriji, from him I learned this. The physical desires, mental desires, intellectual desires, and soul desires. There are 4 types of desires. In this, the spiritual desires and intellectual desires, these are good. One should have these desires always, so that we can acquire a lot of wisdom. And coming to the body desires and mind desires, still one can have it, but they should be only in a limited fashion. Means whatever is coming on its own to enjoy something materially, that we have to take it and we have to enjoy that and we have to satisfy with it. We can ask for certain things, whatever coming in our mind, but we need to put some weight to get those things on the spiritual matter. So our efforts should be in spirituality, and whatever that is coming materially to satisfy our body desires and mind desires, whatever is available readily, that we have to take it and we have to enjoy it. If we keep on go on asking, in a greedy way for the material compliments, so that will create the chaos. So that's why here we have to understand the desire part. 4 types of desires that are there. One should have all these 4 types of desires, then only they go in a middle path. And coming to the body desires and mind desires, we have to ask them very gentle. We have to place those desires in a gentle way. And then whatever is coming and whatever is served from the universe based on our deservedness, that we have to take. And similarly, the anger also. So the anger should have its own purpose. If we are trying to train someone to improve his own individual spiritual growth or the community growth, that is okay. As long as the anger is targeted towards improving the wisdom or improving the spiritual component, then it is fine. That is what we face with the great spiritual growth. But the day-to-day anger, where unnecessarily, because of our untamed mind, we throw a lot of anger onto the people and children, that is really, a wrong stuff to remove from our intellectual system. Similarly, the miserliness, the lust, and the pride, the jealousy. So all these things we have to work, which are generating in every situation. And then once we are able to remove this by intense meditation and the analysis and understanding the pitfall drips that are coming in the on day-to-day life, so those drips itself will indicate very clearly where exactly we are throwing these unwanted anger and miserliness and pride. So the mind automatically will understand. So whenever the certain kind of that behavior is repeating in physical life, immediately the dream will come in place, and they don't throw such kind of repetitive behavior, and they will come out of it. So in day-to-day practice, so here the daily programming itself, they have to make in a proper way. Because if you observe the fecal matter going out of the body, the washroom mechanism is a daily progress. So every day, just before going to sleep, whatever we did the whole day, we have to observe, we have to recollect. And wherever unnecessarily we throw these Arshad Vargas, that we have to realize, and we have to make a note or make a affirmation to not repeat the same on the next day. So it should become a daily program. And they need to work out the major mistakes part, because here we are Arshad Varga, we consider a major mistake. Like there are minor mistakes and major mistakes in life. So they have to understand wherever they have their major junctions in life, there they need to work very sincerely, very efficiently, and what should not commit those major mistakes in life. So which in turn is an intellectual block, which will automatically work on this megapolitan area. So, to understand this in a better way, the God of small things, as I said earlier, during their journey, frequently they will experience a more related, experiences, the toilet experiences, and individuality as well in group, the fecal matter, genes, etc. They relate. So that's why the spiritual book that we wrote for this Arshad Vargas, in the cover page, we see the toilet book, the toilet picture. So that's why the experiences that they get related to these fecal matters, that clearly they give an idea that they need to work on the Arshad Vargas. So here, before going into the next case study, I think here we have another master. So Vijaya Madam, after doing this ulcerative colitis case, which is very tough to digest, I got an opportunity to work with another patient got. We tried to listen from her in Hindi language, in short, what she has undergone. Thank you, Vijaya Madam, for coming forward on the screen. And so this is also a similar case. And I don't want to reveal the secret. Better listen from here in Hindi language, of course, which is common across India, and then I'll explain in English a bit. So you have 3 to 4 minutes time. Please explain your case study.
ओके सर। ब्रह्म ऋषि पिता महापत्री जी और जीके सन को प्रणाम मैं करती हूँ। और है, मेरा नाम है विजया है। मैं तो 2014 में मेडिटेशन में आई हूँ। उसी टाइम मेरा हान है डेली 10 मोशन से और 10 वॉमिटिंग से और अल्सरेटिव कोलाइटिस, और उस मुझे तो पता नहीं है ऐसे होता है करके। डेली पेन है, डेली कितना पेन है, बार बार आते हैं। और जो भी खाएंगे वो तुरंत उल्टी है, नहीं तो स्टमक पेन है। और 3 टाइम्स मैं सुसाइड करने के लिए सोचा था। तो उसी टाइम मुझे मेरा फ्रेंड ने बोला कि मेडिटेशन करो। मेडिटेशन में कुछ नहीं होता है। क्यों, मेडिटेशन में क्या होता है? इतना बड़े बड़े डॉक्टर्स, मेरा हस्बैंड तो डिफेंस में काम करते हैं, तो उन्होंने कहा कि डिफेंस में काम करने से बड़े बड़े डॉक्टर से, लेकिन मुझे ठीक नहीं हुआ है। तो 2014 में अगेन एंडोस्कोपी, कोलोनोस्कोपी, इलिनोस्कोपी रिपोर्ट्स भी है, मैं आपको दिखाएंगी। तो उसी टाइम डॉक्टर्स ने कहा कि ये लास्ट स्टेज में है, ये जी नहीं सकती है, और 6 मंथ्स या 1 ईयर करके बताया था। लेकिन उसी टाइम में बहुत सैड में है और वेट तो 40 kgs हो गई, और मैं आर्थराइटिस भी है, क्योंकि पूरा की बॉडी वज़न कम हो गई, इसीलिए बैठ नहीं पाती थी और सो नहीं पाती थी। बच्चों को खाना वगैरह देने के लिए भी इतना भी ताकत नहीं है। ले उसी टाइम बताया था। मेडिटेशन भी 2014 में ही बताया चला मुझे। उसी टाइम एक पिक्चर टैबलेट्स है विश्वकांति पिरामिड में हो रहे करके एक लड़की ने बताया था मुझे, क्या है इतना टैबलेट्स यूज़ करने के बाद भी ये स्पिरिचुअल टैबलेट्स क्या होता है करके मैंने पूछा था। वो लड़की ने बताया कि आप जाके देख लो एक बार स्पिरिचुअल टैबलेट से क्या है। तो मैं जाके देखा तो मैंने सोचा कि लास्ट तक कुछ टैबलेट्स होता है, लेकिन एक कुछ टैबलेट्स नहीं है जो किसी के अंदर हमारा दृष्टि में ही होता है, जो लोभ है। कोई सृष्टि में कोई लोभ नहीं होता है, ये मुझे पता चला है। तो मैं ईगो फैक्टर में है उसी टाइम, तो मैं पूरा की पूरा चेंज किया है। तब से 11 डेज में जो मेरा प्रॉब्लम है, जो किसी का भी क्रॉन्स हो या नहीं तो अल्सरेटिव कोलाइटिस हो, उन लोगों का फाइल्स फिशर फिस्टुला कॉमनली फॉर्म हो जाता है। तो मुझे तो एक फिस्टुला फॉर्म हो गई, उसके साथ साथ और खून वगैरह भी निकलता था। इधर एक डॉक्टर से पूछा कि ऑपरेशन करने के लिए, लेकिन उन्होंने बोला कि नहीं आपको तो अभी 4 HP है, तो ऑपरेशन करने से भी आपको मर जाएंगे, नहीं तो इससे अच्छा थोड़ा जेल हो, ऐसे बताया था। तो मैंने 11 डेज वर्कशॉप के बाद 11 डेज वर्कशॉप में एक मिराकिल ही हुआ है। क्या हुआ कि मेरा अंतर्गत जो भी है शत्रु है, उनके बारे में श्रीदेवी मैडम है जो स्पिरिचुअल टैबलेट का सीईओ है, उन्होंने मुझे पहचानने के लिए कोशिश किया है। तो आपका अंदर अरिशद वर्गा से करके मुझे मालूम हुआ है। तुरंत मैंने मेरा अंदर जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स है वो पूरा चेंज करने के लिए कोशिश किया है। मतलब ईगो फैक्टर है ये, नहीं तो ऐसे ये पूरा की पूरा मैं चेंज करने के लिए कोशिश किया है। तो मैं अच्छी तरह, एकदम अच्छी तरह 11 डेज में जो फिस्टुला फॉर्म हुआ है वो पता नहीं अचानक वो कैसे मेरे शरीर से चले गई, पता नहीं, मुझे तो पता नहीं। उसी टाइम तो मैं ना जीके सर उधर ही है उसी टाइम, तो उन्होंने उनको बताया था सर मैं अभी अच्छा से बैठ पा रही हूँ, क्लास वगैरह सुन रही हूँ ऐसा करके। उसके आस्ते आस्ते 6 मंथ्स के बाद हॉस्पिटल गए थे, फिर वापस आई, थोड़ा बहुत मेडिसिन वगैरह यूज़ किया है। उसके अभी तो 2019 से मैं एकदम इंग्लिश मेडिसिन बिल्कुल यूज़ नहीं किया है और एकदम परफेक्ट है। अभी 65 kg से अभी 2018 में एक बार फिर चेक किया है, फिर एंडोस्कोपी, कॉलोनोस्कोपी, इल्नोस्कोपी पूरा के पूरा रिपोर्ट्स मेरे पास है। अपोलो में ही हुआ है और मेरा जो डिफेंस का हॉस्पिटल है कल्याणी हॉस्पिटल उसमें भी हुआ है। उन्होंने बताया कि सरप्राइज हो गई जो मेरे डॉक्टर से देख के ये कैसे हुआ है, लेकिन मिराकिल है क्योंकि एकदम कैंसर फॉर्म हो जाएंगे, नहीं तो कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगी, 1 ईयर के अंदर आप मर जाएंगे करके वो जिन्होंने बताया था उन्होंने पूरा एकदम सरप्राइज हो गई। तो मुझे देख के और डॉक्टर भी खुश हो गई, मेरा फैमिली में, क्योंकि मेरा दृष्टि में प्रॉब्लम है इसीलिए मैं है, इस सृष्टि में कई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता है, तो मुझे पता चला था। और अरिशद वर्गास जो भी है मेरा अंदर और ड्रीम्स है सब कुछ, जीके सर ने मुझे पूरा काउंसलिंग दिया है। उसी टाइम तो मैं हर एक आशा मैडम काउंसलिंग दिया और श्रीदेव मैडम भी काउंसलिंग दिया। ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जीके सर ने हर एक ड्रीम को भी मैंने सर को बताया था, सर मुझे स्नेक्स बहुत ज़्यादा आ रहे ड्रीम्स में और पता नहीं मुझे मॉशंस का और ड्रीम्स में आ रहे, ये सब कुछ बताने से अच्छा तो ये पक्का अरिशद वर्गा से, तो ये आप बदलने से ये बिल्कुल नहीं आएंगे, कैसे बताया था। आजकल मुझे स्नेक्स वगैरह ड्रीम्स में नहीं आ रहे, फाइव नहीं आ रहे और एलिफेंट्स भी नहीं आ रहे और जो मोशन का जो भी है ऐसे ड्रीम्स वगैरह नहीं आ रहे। तो अभी मैं एकदम अच्छी तरह से मेरा फैमिली के मिलजुल कर रह रही, हैप्पी हैप्पी से। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
Yeah, thank you, Vijaya madam. Till now, she has given the history related to her Crohn's disease problem, where she came with the intense, complaints about her megacolon, same, more or less same with the bloody stools and, recurrent episodes of pain abdomen. When I was doing my 11-day workshop in Visakhapatnam to train the spiritual tablets counselors, she was literally on the floor in the last bench where she's lying down and listening to my class. And by the time the 11 days are completed, because she is under the pyramid and a group influence and did very good amount of meditation, I am not claiming that she learned something out of the workshop, but she is able to do a very good amount of meditation every day, the whole night. And within 10 days, her brain was completely cured and she's out of pain and some symptoms have also decreased. And since then onwards, she started working on her intellectual system. And she is the one surprised to see that book, the pocket book about Arshad Varga. She forgot to tell that. Because when I kept that come-out picture on the cover page, she immediately came and asked me why you kept this cover page as a come-out picture, which is coming in her dreams. The fecal matters come out, everything is coming in her dreams very frequently, even before the disease has onset. And then I explained everything and she started working on it, and the rest of the story, she got a great relief and her weight increased and there is no recurrence in symptoms and the investigations are normal with the Crohn's disease. So here, because I work with multiple cases which are related to colon illness, from constipation to ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease and irritable bowel syndrome, not with colon cancer. I am very clear here. But there are cases where the colon cancers, after going through their medical treatment, during the treatment, their symptoms has reduced in a great way, and whatever, during the treatment, usually they are supposed to go for the different kinds of radiation hazards that were very less. Whenever we work with the cancer-related cases, most of the patient records, they will be under treatment only, because all of a sudden we cannot claim them and we cannot put them on the spiritual tablets. So that's why most of the people, they go for the regular treatment. Apart from the treatment, once they are into the spiritual training, the best I understood is the hazards of the radiation therapy or chemotherapy, whatever they are giving, it won't be there. More than in 80% of the cases, it was very clearly observed. The meditation part helped them in reducing the side effects of the treatment therapy. And even after treating it, once they start applying this Ashat Varga wisdom and the energy they get, the cosmic energy they get for the cleansing of the energy channels in their body, the second level especially, that helps them a lot to establish a proper, recovery. And definitely we can say the allopathic system as well as the meditation, the spiritual tablets will give them a miraculous cure. And we can explain, we can give them a long-term growth. So that's why here the spiritual wisdom that we are giving and the meditation will become an adjuvant for the existing allopathic treatment. So that's why so far the spiritual tablets system is working only on the serious, even the serious chronic illness cases. Coming to the cancer, we are able to reduce the symptoms that we are getting, and we are able to reduce different kinds of the chemotherapy and radiotherapy side effects, whatever they get, that is reduced, and whatever the fear they have about the cancer, that part will be reduced in a great way. And then they have that positive, they will be in a positive note to continue their life. And even though they are in a deathbed, I can say, especially with the fourth stage of cancers, the family members, if they are into meditation, everybody will understand the transition process in a great way. Here, I'm not saying that the death will be completely stopped. If they are already very late, then they will understand what is with the Patrice's book. There is a beautiful book given by Patrice on the no death concept. And they will go through the book, many masters, many lives. They understand the process of that birth and death process very well. And, the transition will be very good. So far from the cancers, here from the constipation to colon cancer means, I mean to say, the intellectual system, the spiritual tablets were made very clearly, and they worked on the constipation, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. In most of the areas, they have worked very well. They got very good relief. But so far, we have not worked completely on the colon cancer, because there is a factor, the family, the environment. And environment means we need a holistic health center which is well equipped with the sophisticated pyramid, crystal pyramids and everything, so that we can give a good amount of cosmic energy. And a lot of audiovisual methods we need to use. The patient and their family members also should come forward to give us a beautiful testimony for the colon cancers. The system is made. The intellectual system was made, but we need a proper environment to prove these things exclusively on the cancers. But the intellectual system is perfect to give an answer for even the colon cancers. Okay, so with this, I conclude the case studies related to megacolon illnesses. And if any questions are there, I would like to take these questions exclusively on these case studies. Yeah. Thank you.
Great, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was a great case study to show what has been achieved as part of spiritual tablets. So I think, while others ask for, prepare for a few questions in the chat, or they can raise their hands. I'd like to start with one question, sir, if I may. So yes, case studies is great. absolutely good. But with your experience of dealing with different types of illnesses from meditation, so this is a famous thing that once you start doing meditation, you need to go to doctor. Okay, I mean, it has been taken as a mantra by I just don't say like, because it's not just PSS and mantra. There are so many spiritual practices which say the same as well. Like once you do meditation, no need of doctor, it cures everything. So what is your take on it in terms of, is it that, if I start doing meditation today, I can stop going to doctor if I have any illness, or at what point or what sort of balance that we need to strike in this aspect? Because it is very important that I have seen many people stopping medication right away, or, not going to doctor. It may be true, but I would like to hear your take on it scientifically.
So it's a sensitive question to face in front of the camera, me being a medical doctor for me. Even though I have gone through thousands of cases so far, I can share in my journey. When I'm working with Patricia, definitely people approaching him. Okay, we call him as doctor of doctors. So see, whenever you are approaching a spiritual guru, actually the real chaos started here. We are very clear with this concept. When you are approaching a spiritual guru, the spiritual guru is meant for enlightenment, liberation, salvation, becoming a Buddha, okay, becoming Jesus, or becoming whatever you call an enlightened being. So for them, the disease on the body is a tiny thing. Whether you are suffering with any kind of illness, they are immaterial, okay? So they want to make the people immortal, they make them to live in an infinite way. So that's why they never care about the medications. So definitely they will say there is no need of medication, stop meditation. So the moment they say stop medication, immediately they will say do meditation the whole night, do meditation for 6 hours or 8 hours in a day. Okay, so whenever the guru is saying stop medication, the other hand he is saying do meditation for 6 hours. So if you take up both the words, parallelly, if you do 6 hours of meditation, definitely you won't land in a hazardous situation. But people will stop medication, but they will do meditation only for half an hour or 40 minutes. It doesn't fit with their, the actual progress. So this is what happens when you go to a spiritual person or a spiritual master who is working for enlightenment actually. It is not their job to teach you this. If anybody approach me, being a spiritual scientist and a medical doctor too, I never ask them to stop medication. In fact, whenever I work with the intense cases, actually the serious cases, we have a different system. There's a 5-fold path. In that 5-fold path, one meditation master will be there who will take care of the daily meditation, and there is one material supplier. They are supposed to supply all the spiritual tablets. Not only supply, they have to administer. Suppose if I give them this Arshad Varga tablet, they have to understand what are the Arshad Varga, how they have to work in day-to-day life, where exactly they will generate his ego or greediness, and they have to identify, comparing with their pitfall dreams. So this material supplier acts like a nurse, and they will facilitate to apply those spiritual concepts in their day-to-day life, practically. And the third one is a GPM, means Grand Pyramid Master, supposed to have the complete third eye, and they will guide them in a proper way based on the array of spiritual experiences that they throw. Based on that, they will suggest one spiritual tablet. So this next you need to apply, something like that. And the fourth one is DR, means diet, energetic environment, and relation caretaker, DEER. Because the disease, whenever, especially if you go through these severe psychological problems, even the intense ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease, the patient will be on the bed. The rest of the family members are the true sufferers. According to the spirituality, suffering is due to individual ignorance. Patient is enjoying comforts in a 5-star on the bed, but the family members are real sufferers. So we need to start with the family members first. What are their intentions? What is their spiritual progress? Why these people are suffering with the patient, having a patient, better patient at home. So first we try to work with the family members. So the diet, what he is following, and the energetic environment in and around him, applying the 10 energy supports like pyramid, crystals, colorful curtains, the higher color curtains, and the soft instrumental music in and around, and keeping some green plants in the home, in that particular room. So all these things we follow. And the relation caretaker, we have to talk to the family members, what is their perspective towards this illness. And the fifth one is allopathic doctor, or homeo, or Ayurveda, whatever the qualified system they are following. We never interfere with it. And in fact, we take a series of investigatory supports, and if we follow the doctor also, whether he is following all the medication properly run, especially with the cancer cases, because there are certain areas where whenever they get that energy relief, as I told in the beginning, once they do a good amount of meditation, symptomatically they will become free. And they think the disease is clear, and they will try to stop the medication, which I don't want to happen.
No, absolutely.
So, series of recordings we take, and parallelly we follow the medical doctor as well to not to stop the medication. Once we are confident that they are working on intellectual system, they understood the root cause, they understood the purpose of life. Once these things are very good, then definitely we will get a certain experiences. It looks like a bit funny if I say. Sometimes the patients themselves, they will come and tell, sir, frequently, I don't know what happened to memory. I am forgetting to take my tablets, the physical tablets, actual tablets. Okay, here and then the memory, failure will happen. And they may not carry the tablets with them. Coincidentally, they will miss some of the medications, but still they are very good. So at that junction, it looks like a funny part, but parallelly working through the investigation part and his experiences, intellectual system, they are training some other patient gods who are having the similar complaints. Okay, so all these things will be in place. Then we understand that now it is the time to stop medication.
Stop medication.
Then only really we stop exclusively for hypertension or diabetes or any chronic illnesses. We never interfere with the medication. And here, the spiritual tablet system is an adjuvant. We always claim like it is an adjuvant, which is a supportive system for the existing qualified training. So we are very clear with it. Yeah, thank you.
That's great, sir. So summarize, blindly stopping medication just by saying that, I'm meditating for 30 minutes every day from past 10 years, so I can stop meditation. No, there's so many factors associated with it to shift, from medication to meditation. And in that way, spiritual tablets is helping the humanity in bringing that shift. So thank you so much for your answer. I think we have a question. What is the relationship between psychological factors and physical health conditions, and how does the mind-body connection overall well-being? I think it is like, how does belief system or our mindset plays a role in the body?
So here, as we know very well, most of the diseases are psychosomatic. Whatever the thoughts we carry, whatever the belief system we carry, that will automatically, imprinted on the physical system over a period of time, and will undergo with the disease factor. This is very clear. But here, after going through a lot of spiritual literature and learn a lot from Brahma Shivakrisi and so many spiritual scientists across the globe, I clearly understood we are working with a big picture, the 7-body system, the 7-layer system, the physical body, energy body, and astral body. Above that, the spiritual body, casual, supra-casual, and nirvana body. So all these different levels are very clearly defined in Theosophical Society. We can go to that literature. Beautifully, they have given a rationale about each and every layer. So once you go into it, in every lifetime, we are coming with a birth plan. We can refer to the Robert Schwartz soul plan books and also others. We are coming with a beautiful birth plan. After coming here, because of the birth chart or whatever, as a part of the play, we forget that birth plan, and then we start journey with the people around us and the environment and the family members and all these factors in and around us. With that, we develop a certain kind of belief. And at one point of time, there will be a transition from unconscious evolution to conscious evolution. So during this transition, slowly they will go into the spotless mind, the meditation, the spirituality, and then they will open their third eye, and slowly, intuitively, or through guru or through environment, they will understand their purpose of life, and they will study the spiritual science as a whole. So this spiritual science will bring the true potential that is there inside each and every person. So here, rather than understanding it as a simple belief systems or the childhood beliefs, whatever they are carrying, we have to understand ourselves as ECW, energy, consciousness, and wisdom balls. So if we improve the energy, that will automatically improve the wisdom and it will improve the consciousness. So here we need to work with the consciousness first. If we are improving the consciousness, then slowly we will understand the pre-birth plan, the purpose of life. And once we are righteously seated on the purpose, then our journey will be like a journey on the national highway, where we don't attract any unwanted things into our life. Once we are indulged into the righteous way of living, then whatever the unwanted thoughts that are coming, the low-level thoughts or negative thoughts or the people around, they won't come into our picture. We don't attract those sinful things, unwanted things. So that's why here we try to focus to make the patient gods to realize that they are energy, consciousness, and wisdom balls. And we try to make them to realize their purpose of life, and we try to make them to understand the positive qualities they are supposed to develop, like concentration, memory, the compassion, love, all the positive soul feelings they have to develop, and they have to come out of the unwanted negative factors like Arshad Varga, just I told. And if you understand the 4 major obstacles of a warrior by Don Juan, spiritual scientist, initially we work with the fear that we carry within us. And once you crack the fear, then we will land in the ego, the second layer, the second major obstacle. Once you crack the ego part, then we land in the spiritual powers. Here the powers itself becomes a major obstacle. So here, really, we go in a different mode, understanding the spiritual powers that we gain within us. And we have to put them into a righteous practice, spiritual practice. Then only we can say that they will be good. And our people misutilize the spiritual powers that they are gaining in their practice that may be generated in this lifetime or the previous lifetimes. They must generate as a neurological disorder. Usually all the power-related deficits, usually they will deflect on the body as a neurological problems. That may be a cerebral spondylitis or, the stroke component that we will get, hemiparesis or hemiplegia or whatever, and brain tumors, all the neurological component illnesses which are related to failure to operate the spiritual power in a proper way, in a scientific way. The spiritual power was given to us only to improve individual consciousness or energy or spiritual wisdom or the community consciousness or community spiritual power, not for the material benefits. Whenever we are using the spiritual power only for the monetary benefits, there starts the real problem. So these concepts are entirely different with the simple psychological theory, whatever we are discussing in here today. So that's why here we are trying to understand the spiritual science as a whole. And the fourth factor is spiritual laziness. So all these 4 major factors given by Don Juan, spiritual scientist, the 4 obstacles of a warrior. Here the warrior means the spiritual scientist who is trying to achieve that spiritual highness. So that's why once they meditate well and once they observe their spiritual experiences, slowly they will understand where exactly they are operating. They will improve their potential and they will try to understand their purpose of life. They will try to track themselves in a proper way to live in middle path with the family, the environment, the community, and with themselves and the spiritual group. Everything will be in an organized way. Then they won't attract any kind of negative stuff that is there in the society. If the people are stuck in one place, that stagnation itself is a disease. Then they will attract all the unwanted that is there in their environment because they are stagnated. This is how we attract the negative things in our life, and that will automatically come on the discuss list. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thanks, sir. Thanks for the detailed answer. So, if I may ask one other question. Yes, we have heard about success stories of spiritual tablets through the studies very well. But, the mind are also ask the side of the question where, in your experience, did you see any failures or failed cases? If so, why? Because good to know, like, what can go wrong when we try to do these practices so that, people know that what they should not do apart from what they should do. So were there any examples of such and any reasons for that?
It's a very good question, sir. And rather than success stories, I would like to express my failure stories in not. Okay, because that is what the real scientific temperament, and people also can understand much better way the spiritual tablets, why exactly the people will fail. Otherwise, even though I am very happy with the case studies I have gone through so far, I know very clearly why this system is not popular. Otherwise, it would have gone across the globe, nook and corner. Okay, why people are not following? And simply to say, there are hundreds and thousands of cases where people will follow initially very sincerely all the diet, meditation, and everything. They will get very good relief. Over a period of time, again they will go back to non-plant-based diet. I don't want to name the stuff they eat, okay, other than plants, but they will go away from the plant-based diet. So, which is, I can say, going away from the heart chakra, the basic compassion, kindness, love, which are the true soul feelings we are supposed to carry, they will go away from it. So once they are away from that, the true soul factors, the compassion, kindness, and love, and universal love, all these factors and oneness, then naturally there is a disturbance in the energy field. Automatically they will get blocks around fourth chakra. That will automatically fall on the lower chakras as well. So definitely, maybe the same illness or a different illness again will prop up on the physical system as a reminder to tell them that you are away from the naturality, what you are supposed to be. This is one of the major factors. Okay, so they fail to follow the plant-based diet. And number two, a beautiful case study. When I am running my 25-bed hospital in a scientific orientation, the top floor, I kept for 10 beds exclusive for this meditation system. In 2.5 years period, I admitted around 290 cases. Out of that, 90 cases were successful. Of course, rest of the people were not completely cured, but only the medical treatment has supervened and they were discharged after a period of time. Among those, one lady, she stayed with a knee joint problem for 2.5 months. So during that period, after working through the speech mechanism, because she is very talkative, so to stop that speech, I put her on silence tablet, special tablet, and literally after 2 days, she came and she told me, my whole body is aching. I am unable to bear. I can't live without speaking to the people. This actually, I also don't know, because I am very busy with my medical practice from morning 6 a.m. the surgery to I have to attend to the theater when some senior doctors are doing some surgeries, the basic physical surgeries that happen in the nursing home until night at 10 o'clock, evening OP, morning OP, and all those things. A rural practice is really very tough to, the nursing home. She is there in my hospital for 1 month. She is doing 6 hours of meditation. In spite of that, she is not getting a good relief. Then I tried to inquire with my other people. And they said, sir, daytime she speak a lot, sir. If with everyone she is speaking with the rest of the patient constantly, then I understood, as we know very clearly that, unwanted speech will take in a lot of energy. Then I put her onto silent spiritual tablet. After 2 days, literally she came to me, because I used to stay in the same floor in the hospital. There's only a single door in between. Literally she came and she told, Babu, I have to talk. Otherwise I can't live here. Send me home. Then I explained to her all the concepts. She's a bit orthodox and illiterate. And she understood and she started following that silence tablet. They don't really, within 2 weeks, she got a beautiful experience where her knee was operated astrally some helping hands came and someone opened the kitchen and they made some settings on the knee and again they closed the skin as a zip. Followed by, she had a severe pain on that particular knee for 1-2 days, like some surgery was happened there. And then there is a great relief on that particular knee. And again, she said, another knee is there. I want something on this knee also. Okay, then started working on it. Then she got some experiences related to Saraswati part. There are 3 spiritual tablets, 3 tablet series: Lakshmi, Parvati, and Saraswati, 3 goddesses. Lakshmi means wealth, Parvati means spiritual wisdom, and Saraswati means arts. Then I told her, you have to practice one or the other art in your life. So then she said she has a little interest on singing or something else. And then I said, okay, so you have to start practicing that singing in your life. So usually the years practice, she is around 60 and from a very big family. When she is there in the hospital, then we got a good relief. But after going home, over a period of time, clearly I can understand this Vakshetra, especially, maintaining the words in day-to-day life, what is really required that we have to speak, and the rest of the areas we have to be silent. Or even you can indulge in spiritual teaching rather than day-to-day unwanted, rotten materialistic talk. The Vakshetra failure. And the second thing, she has to be with the intense music every day, at least for 4 to 5 hours. The true life is like singing, meditation, enjoying the family, doing something as a community service, rather than simply living a sedentary life. So whenever there is a failure in Saraswati part, learning an art, learning some art, some new, language, if they are going to do something for another neighbor country or neighbor state as a part of their purpose. So some people, they realize they are supposed to work for Western countries. They are supposed to work for a neighbor state in a different language. Then they are supposed to learn that particular language and they have to make their journey toward the spiritual children. So here, going to the next step, learning a new language and learning a new art, this becomes a major obstacle because we are not habituated to it. We are habituated to have children, get them married and carry this granddaughters and give the property to them and just wait for the death. This is what we are habituated. But the actual living true potential is not like that. At every age, we can practice lot of science, lot of arts, lot of languages, and we can travel across the globe. This is what actually the true potential. If we complete each and everything that is there on this earth plane, then only we can go to the other planes. So that's why, according to the level, the meditation will give beautiful dreams and experiences. What best you can do in your life. Each and every minute we can learn a lot of things. So whenever there is a failure in the constant learning attitude, then you'll catch up these spiritual results. Whenever they are unnecessarily speaking here and there, they were losing their spiritual power in unwanted speech. So these blocks are good enough to come up with either recurrence of the same disease or with a new illness. So these are the areas where usually we see the recurrence of the illness. Sometimes we may not be in a position to stop the medication also. Definitely symptomatically they are relieved. But when we go through the investigations, it won't show a proper result. Whenever the investigations are not showing proper results, we cannot simply stop their medication. But physically they are good. What are the symptoms they are saying earlier before meditation? Now they are not there. But because they are not good with the investigations, then we don't stop their medication. Maybe medication can be reduced from 50 mg to 25 or 100 to 25. They will reduce, but we may not completely stop the medication unless and until they become smarter with their consciousness journey. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, that's it. Sir, thank you so much, sir. There's so many factors that needs to be followed. If not, it's not successful. But as far as we take the spiritual tablets to the point, then it's always successful. So thanks. Anyone has any questions before I'll have many, so I'll let people ask. Sam, yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, wonderful session, GK sir. I being a meditator from PSSM, I have one thing that I need to get more clarity on. That is, we say that once you break the dependency on medicines with the help of your meditations, and after raising your consciousness, we can stop medications. Isn't it like um, after you learn the swimming, you get into water, but you learn swimming only after getting into water, but at that moment you don't know swimming. So 15 years ago when Patriji said stop medicines, and I have seen so many people stopping medicines even though they had issues, but that's when they realized that they can heal themselves. So how do we actually understand that without using medicines or while using medicines? I wanted to understand that shift. When will that happen? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. To answer you from your example itself, when I learned swimming, okay, so first I tried to jump only 1 to 2 feet distance to the, the bell. We have the wand and there is a support system. My mentor allowed me to jump only just near to that, the stone. Immediately I can catch up. If I fail in swimming, immediately I can catch up. And there are additional 2 people in and around me. If something happens, immediately they will jump and they will rescue me. I never tried alone to jump in a well in the center of the well, okay, at the cost of my death. So that's why to give a simple example, there are support systems. People will there in and around. And we are taking only a minimal risk, not a complete risk. Okay. So that's why if they are successful in swimming only 1 to 2 feet, again, slowly I used to increase my, the length of risk. That is how I learned swimming. So similarly, that's why I told you, some experiences, they look like very funny. Okay. Like the memory loss kind of, sometimes they forget to take tablets, or sometimes they forget carrying the tablets. Naturally, it's a natural process actually. Once you are into spirituality, once you are working with the universe and in your purpose, all the support systems, whether you call it as astral masters or physical masters or counselors, whatever you name it, okay, they are there in and around you, and they will safeguard you in a bit. And you are trying to take a minimal risk first. And once you are successful, then you try to increase the risk part. And finally, one day, you will land in a no man's land, like your no tablet zone. Definitely, logically, it looks like a bit tough to digest. But once you are into the practical ground with the support systems, there you can understand. That is how today I can show you a lot of people who are out of medicines and successfully they are doing their journey. And because you shooted this question, I will try to catch up that junctional area. Okay. Still, today I am working on that 10th junction. What kind of experiences we get if suppose patient is dying? One kind of experience frequently I encountered is the chariot experience. Any patient got supportive people or the counselor himself. If they get that chariot experience, it is time to go with the chariot to the next dimension. Just one example I am giving for you. Still, it is under observation only. I am not declaring it about the chariot experience. So similarly, as I said, my answer is to taking the minimal risk, taking the support system, and considering the past history of the other patient records, how they did crossing this barrier. All these things will help them a lot, and one fine day they will come out of it. That is how it will happen. But logically, as you said, with an example, we cannot explain. But once you are in the practical ground, there really it can happen. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Anyone else has any other questions before?
Yeah, Hari, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So my question is similar to another question posted in the chat. How much does the belief system play a role in healing the body? An extended question to this is, we heard various studies on placebo effect, which, there are various outcomes of this placebo effect. Just with a sugar pill, people are getting cured. So could you please throw some light on this?
Yes, sir. Definitely. Whenever we working on illness, whatever the belief system that they are carrying, because of that recurrent thoughts they carry, the mind waves is equal to body waves by Betty Shell. In autonomy, she says very clearly, the book autonomy. So whatever the mind waves that they carry, that will create the physical system. If you go to the double slit experiment, the particle and wave theory as well, based on the observer, okay, we see the environment as a particle or a wave. So that's why these placebo experiments, definitely they gave very greatly, so that even in allopathy also we call incision surgeries. So they will do an incision surgery. They don't even go to the actual pathology for a knee problem or a spine problem. But if they put an incision and they close in, the patient thinks that surgery was done and they will be happy. Okay. So this is there definitely. That's why I answered this question earlier. Here we are trying to work on the actual part of the roots of the illness in the spiritual intellect, understanding the whole spectrum of the soul science. Starting from the birth plan, starting from the previous lifetimes, impressions on the current life, working on the past life wisdom. So here we are trying to work on the past life wisdom. We are trying to work on the pre-birth plan and the purpose of life. In so many areas, we are trying to work simultaneously, and that will automatically take away the wrong beliefs. See, if you take, just to give an example, a glass of water, if you put sand and thermocol balls, oil, different density of systems if you put, and if you stir, after some time, everything will settle in its own levels based on the density. So similarly, as long as people are living into a material kind of life, they will carry different kinds of belief systems that are there prevailed in and around the environment. So those belief systems definitely will carry the same illness in the same pattern. So if they apply the placebo, they will get relief because they are out of the belief system. But there are instances where the illness may not be because of these belief systems, because of the pre-birth plan or the past life block. So there also, these placebos cannot explain it. To answer those exceptional areas, we are trying to work with the actual soul science, the complete soul science, all the 7 body layer system or 7 chakras or whatever you call, okay, past, present and future, everything we try to take it in. There are around 525 spiritual tablets that were given to understand the whole spiritual science as an essence. So that's why, even though the plasma effect, the belief systems play a role, still even itself, that itself is again a limitation, a part. Unless and until you work on past lives and rebirth plan and purpose of life, you cannot explain the entire spectrum of the reasons for the root cause or the root cause for the illness. So this is what little I can expect. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the detailed answer. We have few questions, so I'll go by probably order. I have quite a few, not sure how much time you have, but we'll quickly try to go through some. Rahul, please. A brief question. You're on mute. Can you please?
I think most done.
Yeah, done.
First of all, thank you, GK sir, for the exceptional job you have been doing, and I'm amazed and literally, this concept itself excited me. I worked towards the first level, I completed it, and then I had to discontinue because I had a near-death experience. So, looking for the next when this thing starts, the teacher's course. Second thing is, I have been today's talk. I was like impressed with the concept of Lakshmi, Parvati, Saraswati. So a little more understanding about it. And third thing is I've been having the recurrent bouts of asthma, which comes up every now and then, despite doing every the meditation, the practices, and so that cure also. And plus, of course, a lot of way to go for me to understand all the concepts, the spiritual understanding, because it's so deep that I'm astonished that way. So
Thank you, sir. So actually, because of the time frame, we will be able to take the questions related to the case studies. I understood. I have given my email ID and my phone number here. So please contact me with your detailed history and investigations on WhatsApp, and immediately through my office, I will attend to you. And just to give a simple note about any lung illnesses, it is the transition from fire element to wind element. Manipura chakra is fire element. Okay.
yeah,
Anahata chakra, the lungs will play in wind element. In the lungs will filled with the air bubbles, right? So the wind element lessons are entirely different. Okay, Vai Tattva, we call it as. So we have to transfer from fire element where you are trying to utilize all your powers to make the thing to manifest. This is what happens at fire chakra. You will try to want the things to happen. But once you come to the Anahata, with your compassion, love, and waiting, and understanding the nature supports, with a little effort, you will try to complete the task. That is called Vai Tattva. As and when the wind comes, you have to do your job. So that's why first we have to work on this transition from fire chakra to Anahata chakra, that Vai Tattva. And number two, you have to work with all the positive qualities that are there in Anahata zone, as a relation of all the positive qualities like concentration, memory, self-confidence, self-esteem, compassion, love, kindness. Okay, all these positive factors, wherever you are lacking, that part you have to develop. That is an additional component we can add. And there are certain set of lessons for the lung illness. Okay, minor negative impressions to remove, that puncturing kind of talk that we do in day-to-day life. So there are set up, there's a beautiful PowerPoint slides we develop. Even though we have not come up with a lung-related illness disease work, and even this Lakshmi Parvati Sarta, Parvati to Chapasa is very important for the lung areas. Okay, so if you work with a counselor on regular basis, they can clearly come out with some spiritual concepts which are very much applicable for you. Okay, then that will give you a good relief for you. This and coming to your extension to the N1 to the L2, so please try to work with your mentor, and they will give you a roadmap how to go with the next level to understand the tablets and implementing in your day-to-day life. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. So one request to everyone is, if you have any such sort of problems, sir has given his contact and email address, phone number, and IDs, so you can reach out to him personally. Please ask any generic questions. With that, I'll go for one very good question, I think, which came with the chat, sir. So from Shibu, I have a question. Is it important to intellectually understand the reason for certain symptoms, or is it okay to just to surrender and continue spiritual practices? So do we need to really know what happened, or is it okay if that subsides on its own through meditation?
Yeah, if someone comes to me means the whole spiritual tablets people, definitely we go through the case sheet, follow up, okay, making them to realize the true reason for the illness. Leaving all these, presentations, me and spiritual tablets aside, you are happy and you are free to do whatever best you are doing with your, meditation. Because, see, I will always try to tell to my successors with a simple example. When you are going on a road, initially, while driving the car, you will try to observe the traffic lights, the signals that were given even on the road itself. Signboards will be there. So many things you will observe and you keep driving. Okay, it is the initial part of your driving. After doing 1 year or 2 years of car driving, you don't even observe. Okay, just your internal system will make you through very fast journey without even observing all the signals. Parallelly, you have three types of signal systems. One is the boats, one is on the road. Okay. Maybe some crop-ups will be there, and your Google also will tell you certain things in the maps. In so many areas, if you miss one, the other thing will automatically give you reminders. But you may not be looking at all to all these signs once you are habituated to it. So that's it. Once you attain mastery, then eternally all these things will automatically will happen. Maybe your simple intuition will guide you to say yes or no, to go with it or to not to go with it. All this, if you are following a guru, he keeps on giving you some tasks to follow. If you are doing all those tasks, the true difficulties, the Manchika task, then that itself is good enough for you to live healthy and happy life. No need to go to all these reasons, For a medical doctor, a spiritual doctor, and the training staff, and for a recurrent illness, yes, definitely it is required to dig into the true reasons of that particular disease. Because the disease, there is a recurrence. Again and again it is coming. Even though they are doing meditation, even though they are following the pyramid energy and all these things, still the recurrence is there, means definitely they need to dig into the true reason for the illness. So once you are a pure master, doing a lot of community service and happily living in your life, no need to dig into all these things. Okay, just follow your guru guidance or intuitive guidance. That is more than sufficient. Yeah. Then simply say, don't come to us. If you come to us, we will confuse you with so many reasons and so many tablets. Otherwise, you enjoy your life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, in the interest of time, is it okay to take last two questions, sir?
Yes, sir. After that, we go for 10 minutes of meditation and we can conclude it.
Sure. Yeah. So, last two questions, Saroj, quickly, please.
Namaste, sir. I'm Saroj from Bangalore. This is the first time I'm attending your session. I loved the session so much, and I believed in this a lot, though I could not contemplate the explanations you were giving. It was so deep for me, but right from the beginning, I have always believed no medicine ka concept. So when I joined PSSM, immediately it was like close to my heart. And I started propaganding that, and I used to take sessions where I used to tell this. And literally, sir, a lady who was on medications for 10 years for sleeping. Without medication, she couldn't sleep. She was a relative of mine also, and she had faith in me. And immediately she said, Akka, tell me do you believe in this? I will immediately stop my medication if you say so. That meditation will help me. And believe me, sir, that same day, she stopped all her medications. And 21 days, I had asked her to meditate. And it's already 8 months. She is getting good sleep. She is meditating. And what you said about doing the karma, not indulging ourselves in nonsense talks, this day-to-day talks, avoiding those energy drainers, that is really a help. The second example is my own health, which I was severe arthritis. I had many things, spondylosis and slip disc and stuff. And immediately I joined PSSM, and I was into lot of meditation works, conducting sessions, reading books, talking about it. I was like on cloud 9 because I was very happy about it. Very instant, the next moment where I was unable to get up from my sofa and walk to my kitchen, the same month I climbed the Tirupati temple steps, 3,500 steps. And that I did continuously every month. And last 2 months, my daughter's wedding took place. I was away from all these things and all the pains have come back. So what you said, that talk and meeting those people, I'm a live example for that. When I was completely in that meditation, doing meditation, teaching meditation, talking meditation, nothing else, I was fit. And I lost that contact in these 2 months. I'm back on my bed. I'm sitting on my bed with spondylosis and a broken backbone. I have a fracture in my backbone. I'm talking to my mentors. They are saying, restart. That is only the medicine here. Restart. Because you know where you have gone, lost it. And I'm so thankful you are doing such a deep research on it. Can you say a few words for my condition?
Yeah. So here, as you said, initially there will be a great instantaneous relief with the energy system, because the illness, whatever we are carrying on physical system, is depend on the energy framework, the nadi system and the lacks of energy tubes that we have. There are blocks that will automatically give disease on the particular area in the body part. When you do intense meditation, then automatically the energy blocks are cleared and you will get that symptomatic relief. But to get those energy blocks in that particular area, the related chakra and the chakra related intellectual thoughts are very, very important. Even that body part wisdom. For example, if you say the legs are related to the individuality factor. Like we walk on our legs with our own financial methods and whatever, without any dependency. Similarly, spiritually also you should become independent. You should not depend on any external factor like a guru or God or whatever, because you yourself are a God. You need not depend on you need not go to any other deity or a person. If you open your third eye, okay, like you are in a big ship where everything is allocated, without any independency, independently you have to walk on your own legs with your own third eye completed. So if you are depending on any factor, then that dependency itself break that individuality, that will automatically affect your legs. Again and again, you will get that energy blocks in the knee or whatever on the body. And there is a book, Traffic Signals of the Soul. Like the car and bike has its own traffic signals when they are walking on the road. The soul has its own traffic signals, how to behave. So here we try to give the core spiritual facts that will work on the entire spine. So all these disc prolapse and these systems are only because in place again and again they recur, because people are not following the actual spiritual science, which they are supposed to follow in day-to-day life. See, if you break the law, the police will come in between and they will give a receipt for you to pay as a challan. There is a punishment factor. Similarly, in this whole universe, it's a beautiful software, If you are breaking the law, then you are bound to pay for it as an energy block. So that's why any recurrence of the disease is only because we are not understanding our true potential. We are not living like a God on this earth, which we are supposed to be. So if you work with a spiritual counselor, based on your experiences, they will identify the pitfalls where exactly you are having your own limiting beliefs and limited potential you are operating. Once we correct it, then permanently we can cure the illness. Very recently, I got one circle inspector. I don't want to give the name here, but he's a circle inspector. He was operated on his cervical spine already. Previously, 5 or 10 years, maybe. He's very good volleyball player. And then later he came up with a bunch of investigations with low back. Now the N45S1, they were completely in ditch. There's a huge prolapse and he is supposed to go for surgery. So his doubt is, if I go for surgery, definitely it will be cured. But what about the other disc? Still there are 33 discs left. 3 already operated, now the 3 under 3. But what about the remaining 25? If again they go on prolapse, he has to go for the surgery again and again. So then I started working on him. And really miraculously, every day, the experiences he told, the dreams he got, they are astonishing for me as well. How greatly he realized. He came out of all his bad habits that he is carrying in day-to-day life, in thoughts, actions. Whenever someone in a profession like a circle inspector, what kind of things they are supposed to expose and what kind of things they do, the speech and their thoughts and the day-to-day life, the stress they undergo. All these things, one after another, they were cured. And today, he is very clean with his pain. There is no pain at all. There is no recurrence. It's been more than 3 years. I have not repeated the MRI so far. But he is very good now because everything was completely cured. And he is in a verge to write a book on his own illness, what he learned and what he is doing now. So that's why here, meditation is not simply pumping energy into the physical system. That's why Patrisi is really great in giving us the 3 components like Dhyan, Swadhyaya and Sajjana Sangat. one has to do meditation, one has to read spiritual books, the scientific temperament we have to develop. Every day, it is a challenge to learn and to expand our consciousness. We have to live like a energy pulse to expand our consciousness, and then finally we have to share our experience with other people. Then only we will come to know where exactly we are operating. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.